Well, hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're back into the MaxxForce 13 ECM out of a Paystar, a 2014 Paystar. And what we're going to do is do a troubleshooting simulation for an engine coolant temperature sensor fault. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to refer to the manual for coolant temperature sensor fault. And I happen to have the page here. And it says that we have to check the engine coolant temperature sensor, which is located on pin 14 and pin 68 of the E1 connector, which is a 96 pin connector. And if we look here, this is just a thermistor. There's no polarity to worry about. So we're going to use the standard thermistor to connect to this and see how it goes. So the first thing we have to do is we'll fire up the scope here. So the first thing we have to do is locate pin 1. So pin 1 is up there. And we have to go to pin 14. So let's grab a jumper cable. So we're just going to grab a standard jumper cable here. Make sure the orientation is correct. And we're going to find pin 14. 14, right here. Okay. Then the next thing we're going to look for is pin 68. So 68 would be about 5 from the end. Maybe something like that. Okay. Then we'll grab a couple of jumper cables. We'll just use some standard little alligator clip jumper cables to make things easier. And then we will go to our little box here and find a thermistor. And here's a 2K thermistor, which should be about right. 2K thermistor should measure around 20 some odd degrees Celsius, between high 20s and 30 degrees Celsius, just sitting the way it is without any added resistors. So let's hook this on. There we go. All right, and now we go to the software. We'll turn the scope off. Okay, and here we are in PFD-Tool, and you'll see here the big change in engine coolant temperature. That's when we hooked up our thermistor. You'll see the gauge is reading just about 30 degrees Celsius, 29 here on the grid. Okay, so now what we'll do is we will take the thermistor and just pinch it in the fingers, and that should make the temperature increase. And let go. So we did see a temperature increase. We can also bring up the high resolution graph here, slow it down. And we're sitting at, this is measuring 110 degrees Celsius. And we'll grab that thermistor. And then let go. All right. So this is actually reading Fahrenheit, I believe. So we'll have to correct that. So that concludes the test for the thermistor, or for the coolant temperature sensor. And what I wanted to also get into here today is changing of parameters. We touched on it slightly on the introduction to the Navistar MaxxForce ECM connections, but I just want to go into it a little bit further. So here we have, for example, customer reference number, which is Navistar parameter 88013. So what we would do to change that is highlight it, go up here to parameter editing and turn this on. And then we can go in and just type in the new code. So instead of 001, I'm going to go 111. And then we go up over here to program the selected parameter and click. It will ask you to cycle the key for 15 seconds and then press OK. And now the parameter is set into the ECM. So that parameter has now been changed. You can do that with parameters that are editable. If the parameter is not editable, it'll tell you. So now let's have a look at the same thing, and we can verify these values by looking at what we have here. And then we will disconnect. Take our DPA5. Plug it into a laptop that is running NEDS. NEDS is the Navistar software for programming and troubleshooting engines. NEDS, it's an annual fee that you pay. It's somewhere around $700 US every year. PFD-Tool is one and done. You buy it and that's it. You don't have to pay annually. With NEDS, you have to pay annually, and NEDS will only do Navistar. So we have a look here at the left, and we see the information here, which matches up with PFD-Tool. And then we can go into the parameters. You see some that say write only. Read access. So this refers to the programming of those parameters. But if we go into looking for all, we'll go to all parameters. And here we're going to go down to the customer reference number. So 88013 customer reference number. And as you can see, we did change it. It was 00000001. And we changed it to 111 at the end. So our writing parameter was successful, and that's as easy as it is. So that's about it for today. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. You can log on to the customer support website and ask your questions there in the forum. You could submit a ticket on our ticket system, or you can send an email. Well, thank you for spending the time today to have a look at the Navistar MaxxForce 13 Paystar diagnostics of a coolant temperature sensor. And we'll catch you on the next one. Have a great day.